Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. I welcome you all to your English online class. Today we are going to see an interesting poem from your class 9 English book. The name of the poem is The Rain on the Roof, written by Coates Kinney. So, the poem Rain on the Roof is basically all about rain. In this poem, the poet expresses the feelings of himself when it is raining. So, before going into the poem, let us know more about the poet. So, Coates Kinney. So, we know that Coates Kinney was the writer of the poem, but he was not only a writer, but he was also a journalist, a politician and a lawyer. So, he was born on 24th of November in the year 1826 in a village called Penyan, located in New York, and he died on 25th of January 1906. So, now let us move on to the poem. When the humid shadows hover over all the starry spheres, and the melancholy darkness gently weeps in rainy tears. What a bliss to press the pillow of a cottage chamber bed and lie listening to the patter of the soft rain overhead. So, when the humid shadows hover, humid means it's the moisture. Shadows here, it refers to the clouds. Shadows here, it refers to the clouds. So, humid shadows means the clouds with moisture are hovering. Hover means move. So, here the poet is saying that the clouds with moisture are hovering in the sky over all the starry spheres. Spheres means the sky. Starry spheres means the sky that is filled with stars. So, the poet is saying that the clouds with moisture are moving in the starry sky. And the melancholy darkness gently weeps in rainy tears. Melancholy means the sadness. It's the sadness. So, here the darkness is created in the sky. We know how a rainy cloud or a rainy climate would look like. It would be so dark with the black clouds on it. So, the poet is saying that because of the darkness in the sky, there is a sadness created in the sky, which means that there is a sadness creeps in through the darkness. Gently weeps in rainy tears. So, weeps means crying. So, the clouds which are sad are now crying in rainy tears. Tears here are compared to the droplets. Okay, so in this stanza, the poet is talking about the climate, how it would be like when it is about to rain. Now, in this stanza, the poet is going to express the feelings of himself when it is raining. What a bliss to press the pillow of a cottage chamber bed and lie listening to the patter of the soft rain overhead. So, bliss, what a bliss means happy. Of a cottage chamber bed. Cottage chamber is nothing but it is the bedroom. And lie listening to the patter. Here patter is the sound. It is a sound that is created by the rainy droplets when it is falling down, which means that patter is a sound word. Okay, so patter is a sound word. Of the soft rain overhead. Overhead here refers to the roof of the poet's house. So, in this stanza, what the poet is telling is, in his bedroom, on his bed, he would sit and he would listen to the pattering sound of the rain and he would enjoy the rain. He would relax in his bed and he would enjoy the rain pressing the pillow. So, that is what he is saying in this stanza. So, now, I hope you have understood the line by line explanation of the poem. Now, let us move on to check the literary device used in the poem. So, first, whenever we start with the literary device, first we need to analyze the rhyme scheme of the poem. Rhyme scheme. So, how do we find a rhyme scheme? There are two steps in order to find the rhyme scheme. First step is to find the rhyming pairs. Here in the first stanza, spheres and tears are the rhyming pairs, and here bed and overhead are the rhyming pair. So, now we found out the rhyming pairs. Now, the next step is to name them. We have to give them a name. So, as to give them a name, we name them with alphabets. So, first we will start with the letter A. We will give Hoover A. And since spears and tears are rhyming pair, we'll give them the same name. So, we'll give them both the same name. Here darkness does not rhyme with any word. So, we'll give darkness alone the name C. So, we found the rhyme scheme for the first stanza A, B, C, D. Now, let us find the rhyme scheme for this stanza and let's continue to name them from the letter C. So, after C comes the D, so we'll give pillow D, and here bed rhymes with the word overhead, so we'll give them the same name. So, bed would be given E and overhead would be given the same name, and for patter we'll give F. So, the rhyme scheme for this stanza is D, E, F, E. So, now we found out the rhyme scheme. So, the next literary device we are going to see about is alliteration. So, what is the alliteration? Alliteration means when two words starting with the same sound is occurring in the same line, we tell it to be alliteration. Okay. So, in the poem, we see that humid and hover, it is beginning with the H sound. So, it is alliteration. And starry spears, S sound is repeated, and here P sound is repeated, press and pillow. And here lie, listening, L sound is repeated. So, this is alliteration. Here we do not take cottage chamber into account because cottage chamber is a single hyphenated word and we do not consider it as two words. So, that is the reason why cottage chamber is not considered as alliteration. So, now the next literary device we are going to see about is personification. So, personification means when we treat a non-living thing like a living being, it is said to be personification, which means that when we represent a non-living thing as a living being. So, in this poem, here darkness gently weeps is personification, because the poet is saying that the darkness is sad and it gently weeps, whereas darkness never cry, only human beings cry. So, here darkness is personified as a living being. So, that is the personification. So, the next literary device we are going to see about is transferred epithet. So, transferred epithet. Epithet means the adjective. So, transferred epithet means when an adjective used before the noun does not describe the noun next to it, but it describes some other noun. That is said to be transferred epithet. So, here in this poem, we can see that melancholy darkness is a transferred epithet, because here the melancholy is the sadness, right? And this melancholy does not describe the noun, that is the darkness next to it, but here melancholy refers to the people who are sad. So, here melancholy refers to the people who are sad. People. So, melancholy darkness is the transferred epithet here. So, the next literary device we are going to see about is onomatopoeia. So, onomatopoeia. So, I said you that patter is a sound word. So, sound word is also an literary device. So, onomatopoeia means sound words, and here the sound word is the patter. So, patter is the onomatopoeia. Okay. So, patter is the onomatopoeia. So, I hope you have understood how to find the rhyme scheme and the literary device. So, now let us move on to the next slide. So, yeah, as we discussed, humid, hover, H sound is repeated, starry spheres, S sound is repeated. Press pillow, P sound is repeated. And here L sound is repeated. So that is the alliteration. So melancholy darkness is a transferred epithet because melancholy here does not refer to the darkness, but it refers to the people who are sad. And personification here is the darkness because here darkness is personified when the poet says that it is sad and crying, whereas darkness never cry, only a human being cry. So here darkness is personified. And onomatopoeia means sound words, and patter is the sound word used in the last stanza. So patter is the onomatopoeia. So now let us move on to the next stanza. Every tinkle on the shingles has an echo in the heart, and 1,000 dreamy fancies into busy being start, and 1,000 recollections weave their air threads into woof, as listen to the patter of the rain upon the roof. So every tinkle on the shingles. So tinkle means, I said that patter is a sound word. So tinkle means the sound word too. Tinkle is a sound word. And shingle. So shingle means it is a rectangular tile that is placed upon the roof. As you see here in the picture, there are many rectangular tiles that is placed upon the roof, right? So that is shingles. It is a rectangular tile placed upon the roof. Has an echo in the heart. So every droplet which falls on the shingle creates a tinkling sound, and that creates an echo in the heart. Echo means a repeated sound, okay. So it creates an echo in the poet's heart, and 1,000 dreamy fancies into busy being start. Busy being here is the human being, and that human being is the poet here. So here the poet calls himself as a busy being. So, and 1,000 dreamy fancies. Dreamy fancies means wild thoughts or wild imaginations. I will write wild thoughts. So in this stanza, what the poet is saying is, as he sits and listens to the tinkling sound of the rain, his heart goes to dreamy fancies. Dreamy fancies means wild thoughts or wild imaginations. His heart starts to imagine. Okay, so that is what the poet is saying in this stanza. And 1,000 recollections weave their air threads into woof, as I listen to the patter of the rain upon the roof. So, under 1,000 recollections. 1,000 recollections means the memories of the past. So, it means the memories of the past. Weave their air threads into woof. So, woof means, as you can see in the picture, there are many threads, right? So, like this, thousands of threads are weaved together to form a weft. Weft means it is another term that is used for woof. So, thousands of threads are weaved together to form a weft, and as a next step, the weft forms a cloth. So, here the poet is comparing the action of weaving. As I listen to the patter, patter I said you it is the sound word of the rain upon the roof. So, in this stanza what the poet is saying is, as he sit and listen to the pattering sound of the rain, his heart starts to think over and over about the memories. He starts to think about the past. So, he says that like how thousands of threads are weaved together to form a weft, in the same way thousands of thoughts are weaved in his heart, and the thoughts fill his heart. That is what he is saying, that his thoughts starts building up. Okay. So, I hope you have understood the explanation of this stanza. Now, let us move on to the literary device. So, first we need to find the rhyme scheme. So, to find the rhyme scheme, we need to find the rhyming pairs. So here the rhyming pairs are heart and start, and here woof and roof are the rhyming pairs. Now the next step is to give them a name. So we'll give shingles A, and since heart and start are rhyming pair, we'll give them the same name. We'll give B, and for fancies we'll give C, and here recollections will give D, and here woof and roof are the rhyming pair, so we'll give them the same name. So we'll give E for both. And here patter does not rhyme with any word, so we'll give patter alone the name F. So the rhyme scheme for the second stanza goes A, B, C, B, D, E, F, E. So this is the rhyme scheme for the second stanza. Now we need to find the alliteration. So the alliteration for this stanza is here busy being. B sound is repeated. So here R sound is repeated, rain and roof. And here their threats, T sound is repeated. So that is the alliteration in the second stanza. Now the next one we are going to see is the transferred epithet. Here I said your transferred epithet is the adjective which is placed before the noun, does not describe the noun next to it but describes some other noun. So here dreamy is the epithet, which means it is the adjective and it does not describe the noun next to it. Here this dreamy refers to the people who are with wild dreams. It does not refer the fancies. It says dreamy refers to the people who are dreamy. So that is a transferred epithet, and here next one is a personification. Here personification is the recollections. So personification means when we represent a thing as a living being. So here recollections is personified because here the poet says that the recollections weave, whereas recollections thoughts never weave, only a human being can weave. So here recollections is personified when the poet says that recollections weave. So that is the personification. So and the next one is the onomatopoeia. So the onomatopoeia means sound words. Here the sound words are the tinkle and the patter. So tinkle and patter are the onomatopoeia here. So I hope you have understood the stanza and the poetry device. So now let us move on. So as we discussed, the alliteration in the second stanza is busy being, B sound is repeated, and rain and roof R sound is repeated, and their threats T sound is repeated. And the transferred epithet here is the dreamy fancies, because here dreamy does not describe the fancies but it refers to the people who are with wild dreams. And the onomatopoeia here is the tinkle and the patter because they are the sound words used. And the personification is recollections because the poet says that the recollections weave, whereas recollections never weave, only a human being can weave. So here the poet says that recollections weave and recollections are personified here. So Shri Gurubhyo Namaha, we'll see the remaining part in the next class.
SRMJV is not just a school, it's a one-time experience.
VM Nagar, Tiruvallur,